Picture this 66 million years ago in what we now call North America. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth and pine. A colossal herd of Edmontosaurus, dinosaurs stretching as far as the eye can see, is on the move. This isn't just a casual stroll. It's the Great Migration, an ancient ritual etched into their very DNA. For thousands of generations, their ancestors have walked this same path. A journey of survival that separates the seasons. Leading the charge are the experienced matriarchs, their leathery skins scarred from countless seasons and close calls. Beside them, young Edmontosaurus, barely a few months old, stumble on clumsy legs. They look to their mothers for every cue, their wide eyes filled with a mixture of excitement and nervous energy. The ground itself seems to hum, a deep, rhythmic tremor created by tens of thousands of three-toed feet pounding the earth. Every step is a beat in the great drum of life. The herd leader, a magnificent bull with a distinctive crest, suddenly halts. He lifts his massive head, his nostrils flaring as he tests the wind. He smells something. Something wrong. It's a scent like smoke, sharp and acrid, but there are no forest fires on the horizon. The sky is a perfect, brilliant blue. The other adults grow quiet, sensing his unease. The low, guttural calls that usually fill the air die down, replaced by an expectant silence. What has their leader detected? Without warning, a low, powerful rumble travels through the ground, different from their own footsteps. It's a deep, gut-wrenching vibration that makes the very bones in their bodies resonate. It's not an earthquake. They know what those feel like. This is something else, something alien. Across the plains, flocks of primitive birds erupt from the trees, screeching in panic as they scatter into the sky. The smaller creatures of the undergrowth, the mammals and lizards, dart for cover, their instincts screaming at them to hide. The Edmontosaurus herd stands frozen, a sea of confusion. The ancient migratory path has never felt like this. Then, a sudden, violent jolt throws many of the dinosaurs off balance. It's as if the entire planet has been struck by a giant hammer. The shockwave ripples across the landscape, visible as it disturbs the tall grasses. Pandemonium erupts. The herd's discipline shatters. Some, driven by pure terror, break into a frantic, blind run in any direction. Others remain paralyzed, their minds unable to process the sensory overload. Calves cry out for their mothers, their high-pitched calls lost in the rising cacophony of panicked bellows. The wise old leader tries to restore order, letting out a booming call to rally his herd, but his voice is drowned out by the growing roar from the world itself. He looks toward the horizon, toward the direction of their ancestral breeding grounds. But what he sees stops him cold. A shadow is growing, rising from the edge of the world. It's not a cloud. It's a colossal wall of dust and debris, climbing higher and higher into the atmosphere, beginning to blot out the sun. The brilliant blue sky is turning a sickly, ominous shade of orange and gray. The temperature begins to plummet. The warm, late Cretaceous air is rapidly replaced by a sudden, unnatural chill. The dinosaurs, built for a balmy world, shiver. The dust wall on the horizon isn't just rising. It's expanding, racing toward them at an impossible speed. It's a tidal wave made of earth and fury, unleashed from an impact thousands of miles away in the Gulf of Mexico. Of course they don't know that. All they know is that the world has turned against them. Some of the Edmontosaurus, desperate to escape, continue their mad dash forward, right toward the river valley that was their destination. But the journey is now a death trap. The continuous, violent tremors have destabilized the cliffsides. Tons of rock and earth begin to slide, creating massive landslides that cascade down into the valley, blocking the very path they needed to cross. The river itself, once a source of life-giving water, is now churning violently, its banks collapsing. There is no way forward. The herd is trapped. Behind them, the apocalypse is catching up. In front of them, the path of their ancestors is destroyed. The sky grows darker and darker, plunging the world into a perpetual twilight. The sun, the source of all life, has vanished behind a thick, impenetrable shroud of ash. Pinpricks of light begin to streak through the darkened sky-knot stars, but white-hot ejecta, fragments of the asteroid and the Earth's crust, raining back down. As they hit the atmosphere, they ignite, turning the air into a superheated oven and sparking continent-spanning wildfires. The smell of smoke the leader detected earlier wasn't a phantom. It was the herald of a global firestorm. The world is burning. The air, once rich with oxygen, becomes toxic, choked with sulfur and soot. The dinosaurs' massive lungs, so efficient just hours before, now struggle to draw a clean breath. They gasp and choke, their eyes burning from the acrid air. In the terrifying gloom, the herd fragments completely. Families are torn apart. The young, separated from their mothers, cry out in the darkness, their calls unanswered. The great matriarchs and the powerful bull, who had guided and protected their kind for so long, are now just as helpless as the youngest calf. Their instincts, honed over millions of years of evolution, are useless. There is no playbook for the end of the world. This wasn't a failure of instinct. It wasn't a predator or a famine or a flood that stopped them. It was a cosmic event of unimaginable scale. The Great Migration, a cycle of life that had defined this species, was never finished. The herd that marched with such purpose and power just that morning was now scattered, disoriented, and dying. They were witnesses to the final moments of their reign, standing confused on a dying planet as the world that had nurtured them for eons was unmade in a matter of hours. Their journey ended here, not in the lush breeding grounds of their ancestors but in the twilight of the dinosaurs.